Hey, it's Leah Remillet with GoForProPhotos.com, and this is Video Friday. And today we have a very special guest. My dear friend Heidi Hope is with us today, and she is going to be sharing with us what exactly goes into creating the amazing backdrops that we see in her photography. So welcome, Heidi.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course. Okay, so let's jump right in. We are going to cover, I think, 4 different types of backdrops that you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is going to be so fun. Heidi is so amazingly talented, and getting to see the behind the scenes, or I guess hear the behind the scenes of what's going on for these images is going to be really fun. So we're going to start on a simple level, right?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about these first shots that we're seeing right now.
Okay, well, for all of our sessions, we try to customize them for the clients, even if it's in a really small way. So one of the simplest props that we use is just having them bring something from home, something that's sentimental, a keepsake. My favorite thing for little kids is to bring a favorite book, because that's something that's great for candid shots. You can have the parents and sit and read with the baby, or the baby just kind of play with the book on their own. And it's great because it's a little bit of their personality too. So it's not something that we're throwing in because we think it looks pretty. It's something that means something to the parents. So they love it. It's a good sentiment from that age for the child. So just a simple book is one that, or a favorite toy. And then we keep the background so simple, and it's totally free, but it's a cute way to incorporate a prop.
I love that because it's simple. It's just creating that emotional connection with what they already love.
Yes.
Okay, so moving on to our slightly more complicated is going to be the ribbon backgrounds, which you are definitely known for, and we see all throughout. How much ribbon do you really need? What goes into this amount of a backdrop?
It's a lot of ribbon. When we started doing these, we actually started using streamers first, which you can do it with that, and it's a lot less expensive because you can buy huge rolls of streamers and do it that way. But they don't hold up very well. So then we switched over to ribbons just because they hold up a lot better and we can reuse them. So we basically take a big string in the background and then we tie the ribbon to the string, and then we can change the colors out all the time. So, I mean, how much ribbon we spend, I would say it's probably $100 to $200 worth of ribbon, and I usually get it at like Walmart or somewhere inexpensive where I can buy it in bulk. You can buy it in bulk online too. There's like great places online to go, but usually it's like the last minute where we're like, oh, we need a little light purple, so we run out to Walmart.
Right.
And then, you know, as we change it, so one person might want pink and turquoise, and then the next person might want pinks and lilacs, and so we'll just pull the turquoise out and throw the lilac on, and so we just have tons of ribbon now that's already cut to size. So at this point, it's pretty cost effective because we don't really have to go out and buy new ribbon every single time. We just switch it all up.
Absolutely.
And then we can add little elements to personalize it. Like sometimes we'll add little butterflies hanging in, or we'll add flowers, or little doily, like lace doilies or something, just to add a little more texture in there without going overboard with the big set.
So, okay, so yes, so the one with the little butterflies, is
Yeah.
that a punch that you're using?
Yeah,
How exactly?
that's
Okay, and are you
was
sewing it like to the, are you sewing it through to create it?
Yeah, that
Okay.
that took a really long time. Those butterflies. So we've luckily used them a few times since then. And we had an intern at the time who helped us with it because it was crazy.
I love interns.
Yeah, I know. It was great. So it's a little butterfly punch. And you're just doing 2 butterflies and gluing them together in the center to make it 3-dimensional. You just kind of bend the wings out, and they're just attached using fishing wire and hot glue. But you could sew them. We've sewn before. You can buy clear thread and sew with that. That works too. We like the hot glue gun a lot, so we kind of use that for everything.
I love the glue gun. I'm a big fan of the hot glue gun. Okay, so then with the pom-poms,
yes.
How are you connecting those pom-poms to bring those in?
We use fishing wire for that too, and there's actually on our blog there's a little tutorial for the pom-poms and the tool ball pom-poms. We show you step by step how to make them, so you can check that out.
So we'll make sure we link into that at the bottom of this post so everyone can go find that. There's also an amazing tutorial on your airplane box too, which everyone should go check out also. So okay, Very good. So our next level of complication is getting into the fresh stuff. So tell us a little bit about what goes into creating this, the cost, how much you feel you need. Because I remember when I was first starting out, I had this vision of lollipops. I was gonna fill a field with lollipops, and it was gonna be so cute in my head. And I bought like $100 worth of lollipops, stuck them out there, and I was like, this looks like crap. Yeah. And they've never gone on the blog. I never even showed them. So how do you know you have the right amount? How do you get in, I'm assuming, close enough to make it feel like you have more? Just those details to really bring it together.
You do need a lot. And also I work with babies, so mostly when we're doing these types of sets. So the sets are a lot smaller than people think. So when parents come in for a newborn or a cake smash and I bring out the flowers and set it up and they're like, wow, it's really little. Like it looks so grand in the photo, because you're right, you are getting in really close to the subject, and you never want the set so big that you're losing the subject, because the parents are coming in for pictures of their kids, not for a picture of your set, you know? So we like to still keep the attention on the kids, and that helps because you don't need quite as much. And if you're going outdoors or in a big field, you definitely do need a lot more. But for flowers, if we're doing a flower box, we had a garden box, which actually got taken from behind the studio. So we don't have that anymore. Now we're just kind of laying flowers out on the floor, or keeping them in the pots or whatever. But when we used to fill that would be anywhere from $100 to like $250 to fill that pot for a session. And then hopefully I try to do it so that we can use it for multiple sessions. Like if I have 3 newborns in a week, then I would go all out with the garden, because I know I get to use it a couple times. And then things like pumpkins, those last a long time. So we might spend $100 on pumpkins, but we get to use them for 3 weeks. We bring fresh fruit in a lot, like apples in the fall, or I've done like various fruit outdoors in baskets as little props and stuff like that. But hopefully you get to use that more than once.
Yeah. Okay.
When you do it.
So how do you? I know people are going to be wondering this. So how do you, as you're designing? Well, first, are you designing with the client first, and then these expenses that are going to be coming in, are you just making sure you have your pricing structure to make that okay? And how's that working?
Yeah, that's really important, actually. When it depends on the type of session. So for birthdays, for example, we offer those sessions 2 different ways. So you can come in and celebrate a first birthday without a cake smash, and that's one price. And then if you want the cake smash with a custom decor, where we're like making that background by hand, then we charge an additional $75 just to cover. And that really just covers the cost of the materials. That doesn't even take into account our time, which sometimes, and some sets that are really elaborate, take weeks. And we just hope in those cases that those items get reused, But yeah, we definitely charge more for that type of session. And the same thing with the flowers and everything. But our session fee in general takes into account that amount of time that we put in to plan for it, and to make it special for the clients. So we sit down with them. Every session that we book has a pre-session consultation where we plan a session together, and then the actual session, and then they have their gallery viewing and ordering. So those 3 appointments are scheduled right when you book with us. So we talk to them on the phone, we get an idea of what they have in mind for the session. Some people are very specific, like they might have a birthday party theme and that they really want to match, like the Madeline. She had already had the outfit, that was the birthday party theme. And then she said, but you can do what you want for the background. So then I kind of go on Pinterest and I might gather some inspiration, and then I try to just create something fresh for it. And in that case, I couldn't really find decorations that I liked, so I figured I would just paint it. And then in other cases, I think you guys are going to see Madeline in a second.
Yep.
Okay. And then in other cases, they're like, I have no idea, I just want something classic, or I have no idea, I just want it really colorful. And so then we're always trying to make each one a little different from the last. So we might take elements from something that we've used and then put a little spin on it to make it something special for the particular child who's coming in.
And I think that's actually one of the things that I really love, and I think is such an important takeaway from what you do, is that you will take the same elements so that you're not breaking the bank over and over, but then give it a fresh concept, like adding those tool balls, adding the butterflies, switching out some of the color in the ribbon, adding in these elements where it feels new again, but then you pick out little things and you're like, oh, I've seen that in other images. So I love that, because it doesn't make the client feel like it's the exact same thing, or all the people who love coming and looking at your work feel like it's the exact same thing, and yet you're able to recycle those elements you've invested in.
Definitely. And I think it also makes it more fun for us, because it gets boring, especially in a studio. I think anyone who shoots in a studio can probably attest to the fact that you get like bored sometimes. You're like, oh, you feel like you need a new prop or you need something new. And by doing that, it just always keeps it creative and fun for us.
Yeah. You know? Speaking of cool things in our studios, like our backdrops.
Yes.
So we both love our Drop It Modern backdrops, and we realized that we each had the sparkly ones. I have Spangled behind me, and Heidi has Mermaid behind you, right?
That's right. It's our favorite.
So we thought, when we did our video, we're like, okay, we have to have our sparkle backdrops behind us. So that's why you're seeing our cool glam. Okay, so our last one is the really customized, elaborate sets that you do where, and this is because of your background, but where you're actually painting these backdrops, and they're absolutely amazing. So everyone's getting to see the Matilda one and Grace's, your daughter's cake smash that you did for her. So tell us what goes into these and how you can create these and make it worth it for your business.
So this, I think the biggest investment in these is time. Actually, it's not as expensive as a lot of the other sets that we do when it comes down to money. A lot of the consumables cost a lot more money, where this is really coming from paint and charcoal, and there are other elements that we add in that might, you know, kind of cost a little bit more money. But for the most part, this sort of developed out of being bored with with our sets over and over, and just being like, how can we do something that we haven't seen before that's more unique? And that's when I started, you know, I had a vision of what I wanted it to be, and it wasn't something that we could necessarily make. And so we were like, let's just start drawing it. And so we've been doing that more and more lately, and it's really fun to kind of bring that element in, and it's one of a kind. And I'm usually painting them on seamless. So for Grace's that you see, that actually is a really big piece of canvas that I ordered on Amazon, and then I just use acrylics, pretty cheap ones, and charcoal. And so I did the acrylic paint, and then I did the charcoal on top. And I kind of got the inspiration for that on Pinterest, and it was more because I couldn't decide on what I wanted. So I was like, I think I want it to be springtime. And then I was like, I really like ballerinas. And then I want to do Paris and the Eiffel Tower. And so it sort of all developed over time, where I was like, I'll just put it all together into one backdrop. So that's sort of how that one developed. The Madeline, I told you guys about that already. And then if it's on seamless, sometimes we just use Savage seamless background paper. And lately I just cut them off and actually give them to the clients when I'm done, because the paper, once you use the bottom of it for the cake smash, you can't reuse that background. So I give it to them, and it's like something special they can take home. They've been using it at the parties, putting it up in the playroom. They get so excited about it. So it's like a really fun gift that I can give to them too. So we've been doing a little bit more of those as well. And I think even though, you know, for that's a time commitment, but even for the ones that do cost a lot of money, I think as long as your pricing is right to compensate for it, that it's awesome, because it's a way that you can really feel fulfilled creatively, and the clients feel so special about their session. And to them, it's such an important time in their lives, especially the cake smash is just like so sentimental for them. So it's a cool little gift that you can give to every little birthday boy and girl, you know?
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. I know everyone has learned so much and been inspired, and it's so fun getting to hear how you do everything you do. So thank you. And we will have the links to the different things we talked about down below at the end of this video. If you love this video, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, and we will see you next Friday. Oh, my foot is so asleep right now. Oh my goodness.
It's hard to sit still, and like I kept finding myself moving and being like, ugh.
I know, I'm like, hello.